politics. The comments were not recorded, but it's not the first time Biden has run down Trump supporters. This was at a human rights campaign fundraiser a year ago.
There are a small percentage of the American people, virulent people, some of them the dregs of society.
Frank says if you're not going after your opponent's supporters, you're not a very good candidate.
Winning elections is about building coalitions and reaching across to the other side and grabbing enough people to build a majority. And I don't think you do that by insulting the millions and millions of people who voted for Donald Trump and who support Donald Trump.
He thinks the comments will come back to haunt Biden.
It's his basket of deplorables moment.
I'm Steve Jordahl.
Investigation continues over that deadly mass shooting in Nova Scotia. Here's Fox's Eric Shawn.
A monster murdered my mother. So says the daughter of one of the victims after the worst mass killing in Canada's history. Police say at least 19 people were killed. They expect that number to rise because some houses were set on fire during the rampage. The shooting spree stretched over 55 miles, with the gunman, police say, randomly shooting people he encountered. It started about midnight on Saturday with reports of gunfire in the small town of Portapic when police went to the home of the suspect, identified as a 51-year-old owner of dental clinics. They say they found casualties there, and then the suspect fled, disguised as a police officer, making his car look like a Royal Canadian Mounted Police cruiser before he dumped it mid-morning near the Halifax airport. Police say there was an exchange of gunfire, and he died.
In final news, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his chief rival have announced that they have forged a deal to form a coalition government, ending months of political paralysis and averting what would have been a fourth consecutive election in just over a year. Netanyahu and former military chief Benny Gantz, leader of the Blue and White Party, signed the power-sharing agreement after weeks of negotiations for what they termed a national emergency government meant to steer the country through the coronavirus outbreak. Find more news at onenewsnow.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and download the free One News Now mobile app for Apple and Android devices.
The loss of a child through an abortion affects the emotional health of families. Feelings of anger, sadness, and regret can be overwhelming. But there is hope and healing in the aftermath. Call the International Helpline at 866-482-LIFE to talk with someone who's been where you are and healed to help others. Your call is confidential. 866-482-LIFE.
Darkness is not an affirmative force. It simply reoccupies the space vacated by the light.
This is the Hamilton Corner on American Family Radio.
It should be uncomfortable for a believer to live as a hypocrite.
Delivering people out of the bondage of mainstream media and the philosophies of this world.
God has called you and me to be his ambassadors, even in this dark moment. Let's not miss our moment.
And now, the Hamilton Corner.
Good evening. Welcome to a new, fresh week with the live and direct edition of the Hamilton Corner here on American Family Radio. I'm your host, Abraham Hamilton III, and I'm joined by Mr. Rob Gardner here today in studio. Don't worry, whether we're physically distanced or not, we're here together in studio. Many of you have, like most of us, are working from home.